Plan Commission for the town of Rome. The order and roll call, starting on my right.
Wiesinger here.
Gabriel here.
Dranzak here.
Dilge here.
Jamadi here. Dalton here.
Capel here.
Okay, we also have, Taylor Ochinsky, who is our, zoning administrative assistant support specialist. Our counsel, Nick Flanagan, for the town of Rome. And I don't see Jason.
Oh, he wasn't here. I think he had to go.
Okay. I would like to welcome our newest member, Wendy Dalton. Heather Dalton. Wendy couldn't make it today.
Nervous. Our first meeting is June.
This is my first meeting as chair, so bear with me.
We will.
Welcome, Chair. And Heather.
Everybody's been there once, first time.
Yep. Okay. And Tracy, could you please certify the posting of the meeting?
All right, I certify that on Thursday, May 9th, 2024, the agenda for the Town of Rome Plan Commission meeting for Tuesday, May 14th, 2024, was posted at the following locations: Rome Town Hall, 12:30 p.m., Quick Trip LLC, 12:41 p.m., Nakusa Port Edward State Bank, 12:49 p.m., posted on the Town of Rome website on May 8th, 2024, and emailed to the Wisconsin Rapids Tribune on May 8th, 2024. And the legal notice was also published for publication on April 30th and May 7th.
Thank you. I would like to have a motion to approve the agenda.
Motion to approve the agenda as presented.
I'll second.
Okay, the motion was made by Jerry, seconded by Tom, to approve the agenda. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Motion approved. Motion passed. Okay, citizen comments. We do have two. So, during the citizen comment period of the agenda, the Plan Commission welcomes comments from any town resident, not a member of the commission, on any item not on the agenda. Please know that pursuant to state law, the commission cannot engage in conversation with you, but may ask questions. The commission may refer the item to staff, a standing committee, or a future Plan Commission agenda for discussion and action. Each person wishing to speak will have up to 3 minutes to speak. Speakers are asked to submit a card to the chair providing their name, their address, and the topic for discussion. The commission will also take comment from the public on agenda items as called by the chair, but not during citizen comment. Please note that once the commission begins discussion on the agenda item, no further comment will be allowed from the public on that issue. Okay, we have two citizen comments. Anna Anderson. Could you please come up to the podium? Is the microphone on? Do we know for sure? And then,
Is there a little red light?
It's on.
Be-
Seems to be on.
because of the sound system, the closer you can talk into the microphone, the better it is, especially for the people the millions that are watching at home right now. And she's talking about building a house with the main level, that would be the garage.
Back and forth? Okay.
5 of them if they can see
Oh,
'em.
I see. Thank you.
So I'm standing in for my friend Kevin Sweet.
Could
who
we have
lives-
your address, also name and address, please?
My name is Anna Anderson. I'm a realtor here, but I'm standing in for my friend Kevin Sweet, who lives at 825 Richmond Way on the lake. And he is wondering if he could put a structure similar to that on a lot that is across the street from his house for neighbors, relatives who come to visit as an overflow for family. And the lot doesn't have much lake view, but it would have more of a view from the upstairs. The bottom level would be all garage. The living space would exceed 760 square feet, which is the minimum. And he doesn't have architectural plans for it or anything yet, but he is just wondering if something similar to that would be allowed. Especially on a lot that was narrow where it maybe wouldn't even have room for a garage. In the ordinances for the Lake District, all I can find is that it needs 760 square feet of living space minimum. It doesn't say ground floor. So we're just wondering.
Is this something that we would want to put on a future agenda to discuss as far as?
Well, is there any home currently on this property? Is it totally a vacant lot?
Well, actually, that lot he was thinking of has been sold now, but there's a lot across the street from him it would be a totally vacant lot with nothing on it.
Is this property for sale?
832 Richmond Way is no longer for sale, but a neighbor owns the property across the street from his house, which is not Lakeshore property, but he would like to approach the neighbor about buying that lot.
Yeah, I did notice that there was a for sale Caldwell Banker sign on.
I think it's now had an accepted offer, which wasn't his, but he doesn't want to buy anything until he knows if this type of thing would be allowed. So, a little bit of a catch-22.
Okay, I'm a little confused. The person that bought it,
No one has bought anything
He
yet,
lives across the street from the area where he would like to build this,
right?
okay.
as overflow for his property.
So 832 Richmond Way is the property we're discussing, or that you're,
I
No?
put that on there quickly. I couldn't remember his address. His address is 825 Richmond Way. He lives on the lake. That lot at 832 has now been sold since he was considering buying it. He did not buy it because he doesn't want to buy something before he knows if this would be allowed. But he does have in mind another lot that a neighbor owns, who he would approach the neighbor and see if they would sell it to him.
okay. All right, thank you.
Sure.
I think this probably should be put on an agenda to be discussed. I mean, we don't make decisions here when on public comment.
Correct.
Madam Chair, I would
Yes.
also maybe recommend, just in light of, I don't know what the timeline is, but, you know, a lot of the discussion points here probably could be referred to the zoning administrator to process that, answer any questions, and then if the body needs to make some additional considerations or decisions, then that could be referred here. It may process that a little bit quicker for the individual that's looking for some answers.
So does that sound like a proper?
Yep.
Okay, so we'll refer this to the zoning administrator for further evaluation to come back. Thank you. Okay, we have a question regarding a shed versus an accessory structure permit, building requirements, minimum and max, overall code being read or interpreted differently by others. Jacob Craning? Is that, I hope I didn't,
Nope, you got it right.
oh,
Thank you. So yeah, similar to the last lady that talked. to us.
address
I'm
please.
sorry, 1086 Quarterstaff Court.
Could you raise your the mic up so you're talking into it, please?
Yep, 1086 Quarterstaff Court. So my process to put a shed on my property started 5 years ago. We bought the property. We had some legal issues with our land with the neighbors, which is resolved now. I admittedly got the permit a little early for the shed. And then we had a permit to do some work on the shore that was approved by Adams County Planning. So then I halted the shed to make sure the legal dispute was exactly where it was, so I didn't have to move anything. In the meantime, the neighbors put down, back when the administrative assistant was working, Emily, she sent through a permit as an accessory structure, and they have a 12 by 18 shed, which, as we know, there's 150 square foot maximum for sheds in town of Rome, which it does say on vacant lots. This is on a lot with a house, same as mine. So the discrepancy here lies that it's open for kind of interpretation by whoever you talk to. Greg had a different interpretation 5 years ago where anything over 150 had to be on an actual foundation and had to be built according to UDC code. So now we have the problem that the neighbors have a shed that either was permitted but technically isn't legal, which is going to create probably a legal battle with them, or maybe somewhere in the middle grounds. My problem is under setbacks for the lake thing, it says a minimum building of 24 feet. Now, it doesn't say a length, so we have to fill in the blank and assume that they're referring to the 760 square foot minimum, which the previous commenter was talking about. Or can I build a 24 by 10 based on that? I've talked to Dustin at Adams County. He said you guys, Rome has a different set of permit. They have one, and feel free to talk to him, one permit, and you check shed, accessory, or that. They allow two. So it seems like there's a lot of overlap with Rome and Adams County, where Adams County's kind of doing all the legwork on most of this anyways, especially in the Lakes District, where he doesn't care if you build a 200 square foot accessory structure or a 300, you're just limited to your 20% and 2 accessory structures. But in Rome, now I would have to jump to 24 times 24, assuming that's the other measurement. It doesn't really say. And I'd have to build a 500 and some square foot building if I don't want 150. So, and I don't really want one that big. I just want something to be considered where someone can build or have if you already have a residence. I understand why on camper lots we have the 150 maximum so people don't put beds in them and try to live in them and stay in there. But on a house or a lot that has an existing structure and I already have a 24 by 24 garage, a shed or something that can be moved with a shed machine, like it feels like there would be a more reasonable size that could possibly be considered to be allowed for residents with primary residence is the gist of it.
Is your garage currently attached to your home?
No, that would be one accessory structure. Yes.
That's,
And you're allowed 2, correct?
We allowed 1 accessory and 1 shed.
Okay, and per Adams County, it says 2, and I guess yours trumps theirs probably, but it says the code does, or the ordinance does say 2 accessory structures. So,
Code does? I thought
not
so.
in the Lakes District, it does not.
Not in the Lakes District?
Adams County does.
Yep, okay, but not in the LD district.
and that's fine. Like I said, the problem we have now is Greg had a different interpretation. Taylor's been having to deal with me the last couple of months, unfortunately, and I'm sorry. And then Emily had a different interpretation. So now we have someone that has a 12 by 18 whose son is a lawyer, who's probably going to be very angry when they get a letter saying they can't have that, and then vice versa. So now we're kind of in a pickle with what to do here. So I thought a happy medium ground would be if
Okay,
we could consider different size sheds where a primary residence exists.
okay,
That's all.
thank you.
Madam Chair, just a couple,
Yes.
maybe general comments and a recommendation. Similar to the last one, I would recommend that this individual talk to our zoning administrator. The other piece of this is just to clarify, under our permitted uses, it's in your packets for Lake District, it's 2 accessory structures. We'll make sure that we process this according to our code, but I'd refer this to the zoning administrator.
All right.
And the section of the Lake District regulations is 360-60, sub 8.
Okay, so I would take Attorney Flanagan's recommendation and have this turned over to our zoning administrator for review and handling this situation
That would be Jeff,
from
MSA.
MSA. Jeff Thielen?
Yes.
Okay, do we have any, okay, so those were all the citizen comments that we had, the orange cards. So we'll move on to no action contemplated except possible referral to future agenda. information, updates, recent correspondence, current events, announcements. Does anyone have,
Just real quick, there was the one other email that I had sent all of you to that they weren't able to be here. So I had
Oh.
emailed that one to you guys prior to, so there was a citizen comment, but you don't have to read that. But I just wanted
Okay.
to note that that was received as well.
okay, and we all received a copy of that one?
Yeah, and that
Okay.
became an agenda item at the end of the agenda,
Yes.
I
And
believe.
that's related to.
Yes.
Yeah, I sent it to everybody.
Okay, anyone have any announcements?
I had a few. That'd be all right? Well, you want to start at one end or the other?
You're fine.
Have-
Go ahead.
All right. I have a few. The Rome Farmers Market starts this weekend on Friday at 9 a.m. And let's see. We have a couple of fundraisers coming up at the Lake Arrowhead Golf Course. The first one would be the American Legion, Ryan Larson, Post 65, is on Sunday, June 23rd at 10:30. You can sign up at the Pro Shop. There's one for our fire department on June 13th. That's also at the Lake Arrowhead Lakes Course. You can sign up at the Pro Shop. And then there's Barkin' for Birdies, the golf fundraiser. That's also at Lake Arrowhead, and that benefits the local humane societies. Armed Forces Day is Saturday, May 18th from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m., being celebrated at the American Legion Post Red Cloud 250 in Friendship. And the Dove Nest 5th annual fundraiser is this Saturday, May 18th from 10 a.m. to 11 p.m. at Camelot on the Lake. And they have all kinds of activities going on. And Chris Cozy from the runner-up from The Voice will be there. And he's actually very good. I saw him live once. And so we have all of those things coming up. And a reminder that our official site for information for the town of Rome is our website. And there are announcements on the town Facebook page. So that's what I have.
Thank you. Okay, so I would like to open the public hearing. First would be consideration of a final plat for Sedge Village South to be located on 29.16 acre parcel owned by Sand Valley South LLC, described as follows: lot 26, 27, and 28, Sedge Village, document number 572728, and part of the northwest 1/4, and the northeast 1/4 of the southwest 1/4, and the northwest 1/4 of the southeast 1/4, all in section 26, town 20 north, range 5 east, town of Rome, Adams County, Wisconsin. Do we have anyone here?
It's up on the screen.
Oh, yeah. Hi.
Hi, John. No, you got.
I
You're in the
don't, oh, there you are.
Did you want
Okay.
Would you like me to read the back?
Yes, please.
All right, applicant Sedge Village LLC has submitted a final plat application for Sedge Village South subdivision. The proposed 29.16 acre subdivision is located partially within Sedge Village subdivision, as well as a portion of the adjacent quarter sections of section 26. 11 lots are proposed in the plat, with sizes ranging from 1.04 acres to 7.59 acres. Private roadways serve the proposed subdivision extending from Luna Lane, which was previously platted as part of Sedge Village subdivision, noted as under construction. The Plan Commission considered the preliminary plat for Sedge Village South subdivision at its meeting on April 9th, 2024, and made a recommendation to the town board for approval. The town board approved the preliminary plat at its meeting on April 18th, 2024. Included in your packet materials is the final plat application. The final plat, along with approved findings of fact from that preliminary plat, consideration at the Plan Commission's April 9th, 2024 meeting. Staff has reviewed the final plat submission based on the standards found in Town Code Chapter 326-14. Letters were sent to 9 property owners within 200 feet of the affected property.
Thank you. Do you have anything to discuss with us, John, at this time, or?
I don't know. Same as last month. This is the final version versus the preliminary version.
Anyone have any questions for John? On the application for the final plat review, you're showing number of lots and or parcels as 14. And that I'm assuming is the 11 lots and then 3 of the outlots total?
That is correct, yes.
Okay. And then, we had no conditions or requirements that we placed on, nothing. Okay, so we have no more conditions or requirements that we're going to be addressing in the final plat review? Okay. All right.
Can you just give us a quick rundown of what changed, or is there anything changed? Zero?
Nothing changed from the preliminary.
Yeah, from the final, from what we had in the preliminary, it's identical. Okay, I think that's it. All right, thank you.
He's up again, I think, on the next one. He's on,
Oh, he's on the next one?
yeah, he's on the next.
That one we
item,
might
so
have a
keep him
couple
on.
more questions on. All right, so we'll move on to the consideration of a preliminary plat for Sedge Village North to be located on a 38.03 acre parcel owned by Sedge Village LLC, described as follows. Lots 1 and 2, Sedge Village, document number 572728, and part of the southwest 1/4, northwest 1/4 of the northeast 1/4, and part of the northwest 1/4 of the southeast 1/4, section 26, town 20 north, range 5 east, town of Rome, Adams County, Wisconsin. Okay, so. Okay.
Want to give it to Nick?
Oh, yes, I'm sorry. I keep forgetting about you, Nick.
Applicant Sedge Village LLC has submitted a preliminary plat for Sedge Village North subdivision. The proposed 38.03 acre subdivision is located partially within Sedge Village subdivision, as well as a portion of adjacent quarter sections of section 26. 19 lots are proposed in the plat, with lot sizes ranging from 0.37 acres to 1.39 acres. Private roadways serve the proposed subdivision, extending from Luna Lane, with the southern portion of the subdivision proposing a rerouting of Luna Lane from the location previously platted. Included in your packet materials is the proposed preliminary plat with accompanying preliminary plat application and cover letter. Property limits map with noted current property owners, NRCS soil report, site plans, utility and stormwater management summary, declaration of covenants, conditions, restrictions and easements, legal description. Staff reviewed the initial preliminary plat submission based on the standards found in Town Code Chapter 326-14 and provided feedback to the developer. Updates to most items in the preliminary review have been made and reflected in your packet materials, and I just note in the report that the remaining items included a small edit to note 1, adjusting the wordings of outlot to outlots. So that one has been adjusted as of today, has been sent through, so that has been made now. And updating the direct declaration of covenants, conditions, restrictions, and easements to reflect Sedge Village North. Letters were sent to 6 property owners within 200 feet of the affected property.
Thank you. Okay, you're up, John. Anything that you would like to share with us?
I think Nick did a fine job, so.
So there are 19 developable single lots.
Correct.
Okay. 13 is one that says it's Is lot 13 one of those? Developable lot? Developable?
It is right now, the way that it's set up as a lot, but that's kind of it's a lot that encompasses part of lot 1, or yeah, part of lot one from the original Sedge Village. It's kind of a balance lot to keep the survey clean.
What is Outlot 4 going to be used for? Is that ingress and egress to any particular, for any particular reason, or?
Sorry, I'm just clicking around it. Outlot 4 is that on the south? Is that on the second page?
No. First page, it's,
No.
It's
Outlot
between
4,
seven
that would be
and-
for access to the pond, for allowing easements to be in there, yeah.
okay, that wouldn't be a roadway of any kind that we need to worry about emergency vehicles, or is this something that would give, access to if there were an emergency on the pond or something, that someone would have to access it, or no?
Yeah, I don't believe a permanent structure or a roadway was considered there.
Okay.
It might also be for stormwater management, kind of overflow potential, but, mostly maintenance.
So, okay, so there are 19 residential lots and 5 outlots in this total development then, correct?
Correct, that's what this preliminary plat is showing.
Okay, on the letter from Veerbicker from April 15th, from John, it shows that there are 9 developable single-family lots instead of 19. I'm assuming that was just a typographical error.
Correct.
Okay. Does anyone else have any questions? Otherwise I'll, no? Let me just go through this quickly here. In the covenants, the recital section, it talks about the number of residential lots. Is that just something that's going to be moving as things go on with regard to the development? It shows 33 residential lots and 2 outlots, and I'm not real sure if that's an accurate evaluation. Is that going to be changing, or?
I can respond somewhat to that. So we had asked for an update to their declaration of covenants, conditions, restrictions to Sedge Village North, and so I'd anticipate that, I don't believe we've had that returned to us yet, but I'd anticipate that we put that as a condition in your findings of fact, that they
Okay.
update and submit that, just so we have it on file. We like to have those on file for every subdivision that we get.
Correct. We're working with our attorneys, Carlson Black, to update that and get that back in.
Okay. I just want to check real quick. I think I had one other notation in the, okay. That was my only question, was with regard to the updating of that portion of the declaration. Okay, that's all I have. Okay.
Can I ask a question now while this gentleman's here, or no?
Yes,
Public hearing.
yes.
Okay.
Can you please come up to the microphone and your name and your address, please?
Okay, just have a quick question. I don't know.
Can you
as
pull the
far as
mic down in front of you,
Whoops,
please?
as far as the parcels, I'm not too sure if it's the north or the south. Are either of those the area between Archer, 15th, and Apache?
No.
That's not what we're talking about here?
You're talking to the west of 15th Avenue?
Yes.
Where the trees have been cut down?
Yes, yes.
That's not part of this plot?
That's not part of this.
No.
Nothing to do with this.
Nothing to
Okay,
do with it at all?
that's what I needed to know. Thank you very much.
What was your name?
Beverly.
Did you have her address too, Taylor? I know her name. Oh. I just wanted it for the record.
want my address? She's got it.
I got it. I just wanted it for the record.
Okay, thanks, Janice.
I ask a question? Sue Jaskowski, Olive Trail. Are any of the things in this preliminary, is that moving to where they cleared all the trees?
No, this has
Nothing.
have nothing to do west of 15th Avenue where the trees have been cut down. Not a thing.
Okay, I was just seeing if we had heard rumors that those
I
those
know what you've heard.
buildings were gonna
I've heard the
move
rumors
there.
myself.
Okay.
This plot has nothing to do with that area
Okay,
whatsoever.
all right, thank you.
And it would be nice when people have rumors if they would call the town hall and check them out, rather than just spread them. I'm sorry, but
I can share some information on that from a reliable source that I have at Sand Valley. That Michael Kaiser is just removing all the red pines, the plantation trees, so to speak, and wants it grow back up naturally. He is doing south of Badger also with the 7,000 acres down there. So that's the plan for that. Just remove the red pines, and let natural trees come back.
is he adding that area to the conservancy then?
Pardon?
Is that going to be part of the conservancy?
I haven't heard that officially yet.
Okay.
I just know why the logging's being done.
Okay, any other questions? Nothing? Okay. Yes.
I do have one question, John. One other thing that I had noted on that, it's the page 2, that area that's right now denoted as lands. You know, as I had thought about that a little bit more, you probably can't create a separate lot, and maybe you can just speak to what your intention of that strip that just is designated as lands. Now that you've moved Luna over, those lots that are part of Sedge Village, the original subdivision, they need to be abutting a road, right? And so you really can't just
Vacate?
subdivide that off and create a separate lot because, for example, lots, it looks like 15, 16, 17 would all be landlocked otherwise and not abutting a road.
Oh, you're saying the lands to the east of 15, 16, 17?
Right, so that strip of land that's just designated as lands, you rerouted the road over.
Okay.
One question I had originally had for you was what that lands would be used for, and as I look at that a little bit more, you probably aren't going to create a separate lot for that because you have a number of lots, the 15, 16, and 17 there, of, I believe it's Sedge Village, otherwise wouldn't be along a road, right? And
Yeah.
and wouldn't actually abut the roadway. So my question then would be, what are the plans, now that you've rerouted that road, for those particular properties to be, to have some road frontage?
So you're right, Nick, that there's potential plans to reroute that road, but in the interim, that road is staying. So those lots, 15, 16, 17, 18, they'll still have that road. And if we do anything to change out lot 1 on there, then we would have to adjust what's happening with lots 15, 16, 17, 18.
Okay,
So they stay legal lots, and have access.
all right, that makes sense, so thank you.
Yep.
Okay. Then we can move on, I think, if no one has any other questions for John right now. Okay, so, consideration of a site plan of operation application by Al Schmidt relating to occupancy of the existing building by Visit Rome, Wisconsin, Inc. for office space and tourism community welcome center use at 1146 County Road D, also described as Lot 1 of CSM 1015, located in southwest 1/4, northeast 1/4, Section 8, Town 20 North, Range 6 East, Town of Rome, Adams County, Wisconsin, with a parcel number of 030-00639-0000. Nick,
Applicant Al Schmidt requests approval of the site plan of operation for the property located at 1146 County Road D. The applicant will be entering into a lease of the existing building with Visit Rome, Wisconsin for office space and tourism community welcome center. Letter of intent from Visit Rome, Wisconsin outlines the intended use / operation of the building and premises space, as well as plans to the outside of the building. Included in your packet materials are the site plan and plan of operation application, checklist, Visit Rome letter of intent, and associated maps. Additionally, a signed permit application with the proposed signage is included in your packet. Letters were sent to 4 property owners within 200 feet of the affected property.
okay. Would you like to come up to the podium, or a representative? Okay,
Project.
and then your name and
Lisa Kubis, Visit Rome.
nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Welcome. So I'll just give you a little recap of the letter of intent. So I think everyone knows we're the destination marketing organization for the town of Rome, providing tourism promotion and development. We're interested in leasing the space at 1146 County Road D, just to have a dedicated space for Rome's Welcome Center and Visit Rome's overall operations. We feel the location provides exceptional exposure for Visit Rome, as well as a convenient location for visitors and residents alike. The building includes 3 offices, which will be occupied by myself, Jillian Alekna, who is our full-time marketing events coordinator, and then we do have a part-time kind of a creative director, Chelsea Willard, who has a service agreement with us. So 3 offices will be great for us. There will be a large conference area that will be utilized by us, our staff, our board of directors, and will be open to other community groups on a per request basis. We will sell our Visit Rome branded merchandise, such as t-shirts and coffee mugs. We'll maintain our practice of all 100% of those proceeds we do forward on to nonprofits in the town of Rome. Hours of operation, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m., Monday through Friday. The building does have a vestibule that will be open 24/7. That'll contain all, visitors' guides, maps, and such for the area. We've done a lot of work to the outside of the building, well, actually, and the inside. You'll notice I don't know if you've noticed, it looks a little better. All the yellow cement pillars have been taken out. All the big boulders have been removed. They've been working on the grass. It looks a lot nicer. What else? Some dead trees were removed. And then we'll be doing some plantings and probably seasonal baskets and such to make it look a little nicer. So I don't know
Anyone have
if you
any
have any
questions?
questions.
Ideal location for it, definitely.
The canopy portion in the back by the ATM, there was you were going to remove something back? What is the plan for behind the building?
We'll have it barricaded at most times, but it is functional. So we'll likely do some fun promotions, going on a hike today, drive through and pick up some trail mix, or, a doggy biscuit day, or maybe some limited promotions like that. But otherwise, we'll have a barricade in front of it.
What type of a barricade are you, what do you mean by barricade?
Like a A-frame with the
I'm not
bar
sure.
across it?
I guess I haven't
Like
really.
like a roadway
I
barricade?
haven't really thought about it yet, to tell you the truth. But so something that won't allow.
Stop traffic. from going
people
there.
to drive through there,
Right.
even though, I mean, it's,
It would be something that you'd have that would be removable,
right,
but it would prevent people from just
right.
driving through.
And there really is no harm in driving through, but,
So basically then 90% of the time that barricade will be up there because you would only have certain promotions during.
Yeah.
So 90% of this barricade will be public view where everyone will be able to see it.
on D, correct?
Correct. From public to public view.
Right.
Is there any additional landscaping that you're thinking about around the parking area? It's more than, it's 25, it's more than 10 spaces.
Right. I think it's 24.
Yeah.
I mean, we were going to start with just putting some bushes in the front of the building. There previously were boulders there, so we removed those and we're planning on putting bushes there. Talked to Foss's Garden about that already.
She presented a landscaping plan, part of our packet.
Yeah, but I was more concerned about around the perimeter of the parking area, the parking lot itself.
I mean, that's surely something that we can put on our plan if that is desired.
Anybody else have any other questions?
Need to ask the public also if they,
Anyone
questions.
have questions in the audience? So I do have a question regarding the sign. Is that something that you would be involved in then too? Or is that something that we can discuss right now? Okay. The sign that you're going to be putting there is going to be the same exact size that the one is
We'll
currently?
be utilizing the sign that's there, just replacing the graphics.
Okay. I have a question with regard to the size of the sign in the Gateway District and the allowance of it. I might even be reading it incorrectly where it says that the sign should be 80 square feet in the Gateway overlay. This one with what was presented to us is 95.96 square feet. The way it is designed.
I believe that sign was there long before the Gateway District was.
So,
That was there for US Bank.
right,
That was
However,
before the Gateway.
is it like a grandfather thing now, or is it something because they're coming here for a review of a site plan, is that something that we should address? Is my question. Okay. All right.
Well, it-
Okay, I think if no one else has any other questions, and we can move on. Yes, go ahead.
Well, I see what she's saying though. I mean, and we're not just, please don't feel like we're picking on you, but I see where it's coming, I see where the question's coming from, because we've had other businesses go into similar buildings and the questions of signs have come up. So
The
the
town
question-
ordinance states if you're applying for a new sign permit, all non-conforming signs shall be removed. Is what the ordinance says, word for word. We've gone through it before with another business, but it wasn't followed then, so sometimes it's
signs of
followed,
a
sometimes it's not, I don't.
Well,
And other businesses that have gone into similar locations, the same sign gets to stay, or it's not removed, even though businesses that are no longer in the building. So we're not picking.
No, that's
We're
fine.
talking about an issue that we have. So,
I just
this-
wanted to point out that Heartland Homes actually
I
was
know.
the last lease, and they were able just to replace the graphics.
Exactly. So it's just a conversation we're having.
Okay.
We're not picking.
well, and that's why I'm bringing up the landscaping around the parking area. In the design standards, it says if it's more than 10 spaces, we may require perimeter landscaping. So that's why I
We
brought.
just let Heartland Homes go
that
in
up.
with some drainage, wild grass drainage beds, as I brought up the landscaping in front of the building. So I feel that the landscaping they're doing in front of their building with replacing the bushes is adequate landscaping for that location. That's my opinion.
It looks
I
nice
agree with
what
that.
they're doing. It looks nice what they're planning. I just had a question for you as far as usage. Do you think you'll have any issues? I don't recall the least of the parking in the driveways in the back.
Yep.
With the new retail center going in next to you. That road that they have coming out, that's separate from the drive-through that you have.
Correct.
So
Yep.
you shouldn't have any issues with the increased traffic going, right?
No.
Okay. Now, at some point, we have to figure out how we're gonna start fixing things without perpetuating the same thing over and over.
Sure.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
just so I'm clear, are you referencing, when you're saying the square footage of that sign,
Yes,
are
I-
you referencing the sign face only?
yes.
You're not, so one of these is just the sign face, and then the other one is dimensionally all the way down to the
Oh, so is
ground.
that the measurement
As
all
I
the way
did
down to the ground?
As I did the math, if we're just looking at the sign face, we're talking about 49 square feet on each side.
And that is pursuant to the definition of what this is considered a monument?
I'm gonna ask the
Right.
monument sign.
For a monument sign and the definition, and then,
It's just the face?
is it just the face?
I'm just pointing out that if we look at just the face of the sign,
Yeah, I was going pursuant to the dimensions of the entire monument, I think I was.
I think you were.
I was. And that, we don't do it that way then? Is that correct?
Look at the sign face
Should be only the face.
Okay.
And the overall height,
and the height, yeah,
which
which is not an issue here.
No.
Nope.
I just wanna make sure that I point out
Okay.
that I don't think we're being inconsistent
Okay,
in allowing this sign.
thank you. All right, that took care of that problem. And it wasn't really a
awesome.
problem. Okay, all right, thank you.
Thanks. Nice sign, by the way. The balloon sign.
Discussion and possible action, consideration of the issuance of a conditional use permit for the following purpose: the short-term rental at the property located at 114 County Trunk Highway Z, owned by Kevin and Deborah Cole, also described as Lot 1 of Certified Survey Map 4317, located in the northwest 1/4, northeast 1/4, Section 2, Town 20 North, Range 5 East, Town of Rome, Adams County, Wisconsin, with the parcel number of 0300039-0015. And that must be you.
Yes.
Okay, your name and address, please.
Kevin Cole. I've got 112, 114, and 117 on County Road Z.
Did you want Nick to read his?
Okay, sorry, Nick.
Kevin and Deborah Cole have submitted a short-term rental license application and conditional use permit for the property located at 114 County Highway Z, requesting use for the 2023-2024 season that ends June 30th, 2024. Letters were sent to 4 property owners within 200 feet of the affected property. The Plan Commission places conditions on conditional use permits issued for short-term rentals, setting maximum occupancy and maximum number of vehicles allowed on the property based on the standards found in Town Code Chapter 234-61. Staff recommends the maximum occupancy be 11, maximum vehicles of 5 to be parked on hard surfaces, not on the long grass of the property. The applicant has completed all license requirements, including a property manager within 25 miles on record with the town.
Thank you.
I'd also like to note that he did email and call regarding adding 2 additional contacts today. He had emailed those, so I had sent that to you ahead of time, but I just printed it to add it to the copy of the file.
Okay, thank you. Anyone have any questions? Is there a lower level, is there a basement?
There's a basement that won't be used at this time. No.
When you say at this time?
Maybe down the line, I'd maybe add to it, but there's a bedroom down there and stuff, but but I don't have a good egress from there, so I don't want to have people in the basement area, so. They'll have access to the electrical panel, but that'll be about it, so. Downstairs.
So how would you prevent them from using that space?
There's really nothing down there you'd wanna stay, it's just a basement, basically. I've gutted the bedroom. It's just stud walls, so there's nothing. I'll put a sign up, you know, I, God forbid somebody'd wanna stay down there. I've got a big game room and stuff, you know. If somebody wanted to sleep on a cot, you know, they could, but we've got multiple beds, multiple queen beds and a full-size bed there, so. So I think there's 4 queens and a full size, so that's plenty. And actually the 11, we're gonna probably do 10, so. But, and basically it's just overflow for the island. I own Rome Island. And I started renting that out about 3-4 years ago, and there's a lot of big family groups that come up. And this will just give them an extra place to go, you know what I mean? So it's kind of a fill-in for that more than anything, I think, but, and then I've got the campground behind there called Fish Camp, and so that'll also kind of help between the two. Bay Levis sits right in between the two properties, so they'll have access to that also if they want to rent. You know, somebody doesn't want to bring their camper in and set it up, then they can rent there. So.
Okay.
And I do all the self-check-ins. I literally self-check-in every one of my customers, so they get a face to the building, and then I show them all the bells and whistles, both on the island and this. And then I have 2 contacts. Those are my 2 boys. They're 39 years old. But and then usually when I leave town, I usually strike that off for that week anyway. But just in case I tip over something, somebody will come in and take care of it, you know, down the line for me. So. And then my son-in-law and granddaughter clean, and then I have Evolve. Basically, they do the taxes and everything. They do all the bookings, all the taxes, and then they pay the hotel tax right directly to Rome through Evolve. And then they market it on like 5 or 6 different other sites. So it's kind of a good setup for us. Works good.
Okay.
And then I've got service guys that are available if we ever have a problem with something, heater, you know, any of that kind of stuff. They'll come and fix it for us. So.
Okay. Any other questions? Anyone from the audience or, okay.
And it is in a good spot. It's right next to Romano's.
Yeah.
No neighbors other than Romano's Tiki Bar. And sometimes that's a little close. The bass gets a little, you can feel it in the bedroom, but that's good. I'm sure people will enjoy it. It's a good thing to have next door. So. All right.
Thank you. Okay. Consideration of the issuance of a conditional use permit for the following purpose. The short-term rental of the property located at 377 15th Avenue, owned by James and Diane Fletcher, doing business as J.D. Fletcher Properties LLC, also described as Lot 104 of Kingswood Addition to Lake Arrowhead, located in the southeast one quarter, Section 14, Town 20 North, Range 5 East, Town of Rome, Adams County, Wisconsin, with a parcel number of 030-03311-0000. Nick.
James and Diane Fletcher, J.D. Fletcher Properties LLC, have submitted a short-term rental license application and conditional use permit for the property located at 377 15th Avenue, requesting use for the 2023-2024 season that ends June 30th, 2024. Letters were sent to 10 property owners within 200 feet of the affected property. Staff recommends a maximum occupancy of 8, maximum vehicles of 4 to be parked on hard surfaces, not on the long grass at the property. The applicant has completed all license requirements, including a property manager within 25 miles on record with the town.
Would you like to tell us a little bit about what your venture is and what you plan on doing?
Yes, we just purchased this property. I'm Jim, my wife Diane. We live over by Camelot. And we purchased our first property and we intend to Airbnb it out. It's been a rental property before. It was just licensed last year. It's the first time. Though people sold it and we purchased it from them, we're just going to keep it going, kind of the same thing. So we're not changing much to it.
Were there any, do we know if there were any conditions on the last findings of fact with regard to this property at all, or?
There was, but it just had to do with the fact that they had to remove the slide that was in the front, and then the basement was unfinished at the time, and the basement has been refinished and brought up to code. So those were the only conditions that were placed on it then.
And they had to put on a new railing, I recall
Yep.
that as well, and that's all
Yeah,
been done.
It was just all building, and it's all been taken care of.
Okay. We also did, or I didn't, get a location sketch showing the entire parcel with where the house was sitting,
Oh, I just
with the
used what was
driveway.
in there with the last one.
This was the same packet I
Yeah.
had the last time. The exact same packet.
Okay, I don't know if I got, I have the house and the main floor but I don't have a map of the lot where the house is situated with the driveway or anything like that.
I'm very familiar with the property. Is there a concern you have, or you just wanna
No,
know how
I
it's
just
situated?
usually
It's on an angle and.
Have that in my
Oh.
packet.
Yeah, and I
Was
just
it
pulled what
submitted?
was previously submitted, cause they had the last drawings from the last conditional use permit, and I just brought them and carried them over, so it was what was previously approved was brought over.
There was no map this time.
And we approved it based on what we had the previous time, and it sits on a corner, it sits on the corner, right? Yeah, it's a corner lot, it's angled. It was all brought up to where it needed to be when we approved it last time. And it passed. Did it need any re-inspections by anybody for this time?
No, it had been approved by fire and building, and said that it was up to code.
Stephanie did say it was up to code and everything.
Yep.
Okay.
Are you gonna be managing it as property managers, or are you using the same one?
No, we will be managing it ourselves.
Okay.
Yep.
Dependable.
So we're less than 10 minutes from it.
Yeah.
And we'll do
Dependable.
our own check-ins too.
Yeah.
So,
Any other questions from the commissioners? Anyone in the audience have any questions? Okay, thank you.
thank you.
All right, I believe we will close the public hearing. Oh,
Motion.
Make a
sure, somebody make a motion.
Make a motion to close the public hearing.
I'll second that.
Motion made by Jerry, seconded by Lori to close the public hearing. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye.
I'll ask for a 3-minute
Public
recess.
hearing is closed, and we will take a 3-minute recess.
Thank you.
How is that for recording? For recess? Should I just let it play? Okay.
A lot more talking now, isn't there? There's a lot more talking, isn't there?
You got somebody good guarding it.
We didn't even know it was down there. That's how good we were guarding it.
Are you going to be here on Thursday?
I was thinking if I should come back or not. What should I?
Well, I
Should
think
I
it
do
probably.
it from home or
it's-
should I come here?
Well, it's your choice. I
Yep.
think it'd probably be helpful to be present, whether
I
you're
can be.
here or by phone.
Okay, and what
If
will be
you-
happening on Thursday for me?
They'll be considering that resolution.
Okay, then I'll definitely be here.
Yeah, because
Okay.
the resolution is
The next step.
They're taking down all
next
the
step to-
red pines or the plantation,
Either
the
be
ones that
here
are planted,
or
and
by
leaving the
phone.
natural,
And then I think,
original
if you just have kind of
vegetation, letting it grow up as natural.
Okay.
Okay.
That would probably be
His
a
plan
helpful,
for that.
you know, kind of background.
Just like
You do have some
South-
members, in fact, we have 3 members.
No,
familiar with
no building, nothing.
the presentation you gave before, but we'll have other members that haven't heard it yet, so it'll
The
be
same
helpful.
go from Badger south
think I
Bought
should add.
7,000 acres down there, and that's what he's been doing down there,
Probably
making
not.
it
I don't think that we, you know, I gave the background information
said
as
that.
far as
I know you did, I couldn't figure
the
it.
counteroffer,
But no, I mean,
development
that's
agreement,
good though. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
at times I come in and.
Yeah, all this, all these rumors floating around. Somebody said, well, somebody asked me the other day, they're putting in a, solar farm over there, and I said, no.
Would it be helpful if I think I emailed it to.
That came right from Michael Kaiser, so.
I think I emailed it to Jason. Do you want me to email it to you?
Bill
You can
Capel.
otherwise, look,
Bill Capel.
did you get a copy of the plan that she presented to the CPA?
Yes, I do have a copy of it. Do you want me to email? So you can provide it to the others?
Yeah, maybe just to provide to the board for that, you know, background, and so she's gonna be here.
Oh, sure, I can do that, but I think I got it out of order because I dropped it. You want to send it to me again? Send it to me again and
Yeah,
then
you're
we'll
welcome.
copy it. I give it to Jason for the packet
Yep,
then.
I think that would be helpful.
Yeah,
I'll
That'll
just
give 'em-
email it to all three of you.
That sounds perfect.
That'll
That
give 'em
sounds
relevant
perfect.
background
Cause
information.
I'll be here Thursday morning. I can help them print it out and sounds great.
Yeah, and I'm meeting with a national company that specializes in this type of thing.
I've been finding so many
doing
pictures
fine.
of those. I'm thinking like for the land up.
You're doing fine.
Yeah.
If I can find the right size, I can do that. 2 bedrooms, even 1 bedroom, but.
Talk a little bit further, make this go.
I know, I see it online, I'm like, I love them, and then that part of the park.
I gotta do
Anyway,
it.
I'm meeting with someone that specializes in numbers.
Well, nice to see you.
Should I continue? Do I need to stay here? Oh, really?
You don't have to if you don't want to. You can.
Alright, if anybody missed the sign-in sheet, it's still here. Beverly said that she had missed it, so if you wanted
I
to
gotta get
sign
back
in.
to that fat comment you did earlier.
You're just like a wife, you take it out of context. You wait to push it down, not more than a hand.
Okay. I'd like to call the meeting back to order. All right, discuss and possible action on the following items. Discussion and possible action meeting minutes from Tuesday, April 9th. Do I have a motion to approve the
Motion
minute?
approves the minutes as presented.
I'll second.
Motion has been made and seconded to approve the minutes. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passed. Okay, I just have to take a minute and go back to the beginning.
Flip them all over and start again.
All right. Discussion and possible recommendations to the town board. Consideration of a final plat for Sedge Village South to be located on a 29.16 acre parcel
John, we gotta call him back.
owned by Sand Valley South LLC, described as follows. Lot 26, 27, and 28, Sedge Village, document number 572728, and part of the northwest one quarter and the northeast one quarter of the southwest one quarter and the northwest one quarter of the southeast one quarter, all in section 26, section 26, town 20 north, range 5 east, town of Rome, Adams County, Wisconsin. Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion to make a recommendation to the town board to approve the final plat for Sedge Village South.
Second.
Any discussion? Okay,
Did you have some findings of fact?
I don't
or
believe there
anything?
were
There were
any
no
additional
findings of
findings
fact,
that
no,
we need to
not
include.
on this one.
If that's
Okay.
what you were looking for.
Nope, no findings.
Same thing?
Yeah. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Okay, next item, discussion and possible recommendation to the town board. Consideration of a preliminary plat for Sedge Village North to be located on a 38.03 acre parcel owned by Sedge Village LLC, described as follows. Lots 1 and 2, Sedge Village, document number 572728, and part of the southwest 1/4 and northwest 1/4 of the northeast 1/4, and part of the northwest 1/4 of the southeast 1/4 of Section 26, Town 20 North, Range 5 East, Town of Rome, Adams County, Wisconsin.
I'll move, oh,
Just
wait.
general plug, numbers 11 through 14 all have findings of fact, just as a reminder. And then one other reminder on this particular one, we had discussed during the public hearing, the findings of fact might have to provide an updated set of covenants
Right.
and have that on file with the town.
Do I hear a motion?
I gotta get my findings of fact. Okay.
I'll make a motion
Did
to,
you, oh,
go ahead.
no, go ahead.
Make a motion to approve, make a recommendation town board to approve the primary plot map for Sedge Village North, including the findings of fact with the condition that they must provide a updated, set of covenants to be on file with the town board, or to be on file with the town, excuse me.
I'll second.
Okay, Jerry has made a motion to make a recommendation to the town board to approve the preliminary plat for Sedge Village North with the condition that they update their declaration of restrictions and covenants and have it on file with the town. Any discussion?
Yes. Nick, question for you. We're in the preliminary stage right now, so this comes back to the plan commission for a final?
Correct.
Before it goes to the town board, does the preliminary also go to the town board?
Preliminary also goes to the town board, so the preliminary plat, after your, provided this passes, then that recommendation goes to the town board. They will review, and, may add other conditions or approve it. Then the final plat follows the same process as you're seeing today. So
Okay.
both of them will go through the plan commission to the town board.
Same process as we had for 10.
Okay, I do have a question though with regard to that section where they changed Luna Lane and then there's those other parcels that
The
won't.
roadway,
Pardon me?
when they move the roadway,
When they move the roadway, if they move, it's.
if they move.
Yeah, they haven't moved it yet.
No,
Correct.
So now, my question is, the preliminary plat that we have now may be different than the final plat that we will be getting, and am I misunderstanding where the preliminary and the final have to be identical?
They don't have to.
they
be
don't have.
identical.
to.
Okay,
There are certain mandatory approvals that are required if there is no change between preliminary and final, but certainly the preliminary and final can be different, and oftentimes with developments they are.
okay.
Would that then explain why there's, along where the road has already been moved, the lot numbers have acreage already assigned to them with square footage, where the other ones just have dotted lines, no sizes have been there, assigned yet?
Just
So-
remember though that those ones with the dotted lines and without acreage, those are, the
Existing.
complexity of this one is those are Sedge Village, right? And so we're talking
Right.
about a development that kind of overlaps
Right.
in part.
Right.
And so that was the point I brought up earlier, was you have some of those that, as of currently, the road has not been rerouted. If it gets rerouted, they're going to have to
Oh, then
do
I was a
something,
little-
you know,
okay.
do something to.
An easement
I
or
forgot that from-
some
Provide
That's
that
mechanism.
road
correct, okay.
frontage.
Right, some mechanism that they have in and out to
So-
their property.
The complexity here is that this one kind of overlays
Yep.
in a way with
It's an overlay.
Original
right, with a
Sedge, right.
previous approved subdivision,
Yep.
in part, not in total.
With regard to the final plat and the preliminary plat, if I look at 32614C sub 3, it says that the final plat shall be approved if it is identical to the preliminary plat approved by the town board.
That's what I was saying. So that's saying it shall be approved if it's identical.
Okay.
In other words, if they approve
But it-
the first one and it's identical, they
They
have to approve the
this
second
one.
one.
Okay, got it. Okay. And then on the findings of fact, third paragraph, it says 10 residential lots situated around a pond. Is it not 19? Or are, some of those aren't around the pond?
Some of 'em are
But
not.
the total property has 19 residential and 5 outlots.
So I think we'll probably just wanna update it to have the 19, that would make sense. I think there's actually, if I recall, there's actually kind of 2 ponds, although one of them is
Kind of.
offsets village, right?
What's better is if you look at the actual, Veerbicker map that has the blue lakes on them. Because then the overlay shows you what's already existing. That's where, if you look at the other map.
Already existing.
Because it shows the lots that are already existing around the lake that's here versus the proposed lake with the other lots and the road where they're.
So
You
there
see,
are,
this-
there's 13 around the pond.
No, see, if you look at this, the
Right.
preliminary plat
Yep.
here. you're
This is
seeing-
here.
Yeah.
Yep.
And you look at this one here, it confuses it because, like here, I was saying the acreage isn't marked on here, so you're not perceiving it as an overlay, where these are already existing, and we're just seeing this road here. So when he says moving the road, it still has to exist because these lots already exist.
Right.
You're right, so that 10 lots, that needs to be updated. It would make sense to just update that to 19.
19, and do we have to put in the 5 outlots as well, or is that not necessary? Because I do notice that when they did the final, on South, they had 14 total number of lots and or parcels included in the, and it was 14, which, that was 11 plus the 3 outlots total on the final plat.
Right, but these are, it would depend if you're going to leave it as residential lots, because outlots are not, by their definition, not.
Right.
Okay. Okay, so we'll just update that on the findings of fact. Can we just do
Provided
that?
Yeah, your motion and second are agreeable to that.
Do Jerry?
Oh,
Okay,
agree to
and then,
change
who seconded? Did Bill second? or
Lori
did
did.
Mar-
Around the pond is not 19, around the
It's
pond is
13. Correct. So situated around a pond, should we just
Strike it.
strike it? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And then, it says, is in the process of complying, again on number 7C, and again, we're waiting for the updated declaration, which is now a condition.
That would be accurate.
Okay, all right. Those are all my questions. Anyone else have any questions? Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion pass. Okay. Okay, discussion and possible recommendation to the town board, consideration of a site plan of operation application by Al Schmidt relating to occupancy of the existing building by Visit Rome, Wisconsin, Inc. for office space and tourism community welcome center use at 1146 County Road D, also described as Lot 1 of Certified Survey Map 1015, located in southwest 1/4, northeast 1/4, section 8, town 20 north, range 6 east, town of Rome, Adams County, Wisconsin, with a parcel number of 0300006390000. Do I have a motion?
I'll move the item, and I guess in view of your conversation, I would like to add one item that they consider when they barricade the road, that they consider that it be somewhat
Aesthetically pleasing?
aesthetically pleasing. Good, Sharon. Is that okay?
I'll second.
Just so it doesn't look like a railroad barricade or something.
I second it.
Okay, we have a motion to recommend approval to the town board for the site plan of operation with the caveat that the barricade that is being proposed be aesthetically pleasing. And we have a second. Any discussion?
Just so I'm clear, so we can put it in the property file, we have a findings of fact, you're adopting that as
Yes.
part of it, and
Oh,
we're putting that as a
yep.
condition.
Yes. And adding the condition of the barricade.
Which includes the approval of their sign and their
Correct.
landscaping plan.
Okay,
Yep.
We're good.
You got a motion and a second, you need to vote.
yep, any any more
having
discussion?
discussion.
I asked for discussion, nobody wants to say anything. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Okay. We are almost done. Discussion and possible action, consideration of the issuance of a conditional use permit for the following purpose. The short-term rental at the property located at 114 County Trunk Highway Z, owned by Kevin and Deborah Cole, also described as Lot 1 of Certified Survey Map 4317, located in the northwest 1/4 of the northeast 1/4, Section 20, Section 2, Town 20 North, Range 5 East, Town of Rome, Adams County, Wisconsin, with a parcel number of 030-00039-0015.
I'll make a motion to approve the conditional use permit for the short-term rental at 1114 County Road Z with the conditions of the finding of facts that were presented to us.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion to approve the conditional use permit with the findings of fact and a second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passed. Consideration of the issuance of a conditional use permit for the following purpose. The short-term rental at the property located at 377 15th Avenue, owned by James and Diane Fletcher, doing business as J.D. Fletcher Properties LLC, also described as Lot 104 of Kingswood addition to Lake Arrowhead, located in the southeast 1/4, Section 14, Town 20 North, Range 5 East, Town of Rome, Adams County, Wisconsin, with a parcel number of 030-03311-0000.
We'll move it forward with the findings of fact.
I'll second it.
We have a motion to approve the conditional use permit with the findings of fact and a second. Is there any discussion? Bill?
Madam Chair, I believe that we should be consistent, and when we've had people that are letting the short-term rentals on their own, they either cannot rent them when they're out of town, or they have to have someone that we have on record to fall back on as a representative or manager. So that should be a condition.
Oh, that is true. We have done that.
We've done that with everyone that's done it by themselves. So we need to be consistent.
You want to redo your motion?
That is true. Right.
I'll add that as a condition.
I'll still second it.
Okay. Any other discussion?
And you can put a name on record then with the,
They can,
Did you want me
yes,
to use
all they need to do
those
is
two
file it
that
with,
were-
with,
Yep, the ones that,
Yep.
with both of them, or is that not?
if they're gonna be here. If they're out of town, then they
just
and they're
have them
gonna
submit
rent
one?
it, then there has to be somebody of record that's listed as manager for the property.
Okay.
Yep.
That's just consistent with what we've been doing.
Can we put that on the findings of fact automatically? So that we,
Well, you don't know if they're gonna be doing it themselves.
It only pertains if they're doing it themselves rather than hiring a company to do it for them.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. All right, number 15. Discussion and possible referral to a future agenda. Review accessory building height requirements in Lake District and accessory dwelling units as an allowed use in Lake District, LD District.
So recently, requests have been received related to accessory apartments, otherwise known as accessory dwelling units in the Lake District. Town of Rome zoning code regulations allow for accessory apartment, and I copy in the definition there, which is rooms used or intended to be used as a single housekeeping unit with complete kitchen facilities located on the same lot but detached from the principal buildings. Those are a permitted use in all residential districts, and agricultural districts. As a general note, there seems to have been inconsistent application of those regulations in the LD district historically. Consequently, there have been several permitted accessory dwelling units in the Lake District. Included in your packet is the current ordinance language for the Lake District. I've also included excerpts from AARP's publication titled The ABCs of ADUs for general information related to accessory apartments or accessory dwelling units. Additionally, in October of 2018, the Town of Rome amended then Ordinance 10.11 related to accessory structure maximum sidewall height in the Lake District. Prior to the amendment, the maximum sidewall height for detached accessory structures in the Lake District was limited to a maximum of 10 feet. Copies of the pertinent minutes from the Plan Commission and the Town Board, as well as prior ordinance language stricken, are all included in your packets. Eliminating the language allowed for accessory buildings that have a maximum height of 35 feet. Over time, the town has received requests for accessory structures with heights that at times may well exceed that of the principal building or dwelling in the parcel. This item comes to you for discussion and possible recommendation to a future agenda to determine if alternate height limitations for these structures are desired. For clarity, the current version after codification is also included in your packets.
In discussion.
Yes, we are.
So this would basically turn every Lake District's home into a possible duplex. My opinion is we should leave the Lake Districts as a single-family resident. Now, other people may have other opinions. I don't feel like the few people that want to put another rental unit on their lake home, I think is far smaller than the number of people that we're trying to service with lake homes that would not like to see another unit on both sides of their house put. I'm in favor of leaving the town code as single-family resident in the Lake District. You're currently allowed to rent your home. I don't think we need to go any further than that. That's my opinion.
I agree with that.
I would like to chime in that we've had several complaints from the Camelot Lake area about density, and if this would do nothing but increase that density. So I would think it would be a total mistake to even consider it,
So we have.
my opinion.
I did have an email from Dustin at the county as well, that he indicated that if they're within shoreline, they do not allow for an accessory structure to be that of having living space.
Within shoreland?
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
So if it's in Lake District and it was in shoreland, they wouldn't allow for it.
So we're covered.
but not all Lake District properties are shoreland.
No.
And some of these have already been allowed to be built already in the Lake District that aren't shoreland.
Yeah, so that's where he just said shoreland wouldn't be approved for having the accessory living space. With the county at least.
I don't know, I mean, I'm not for it one way or another, but in response to, they're not necessarily duplexes, but like the folks that came up here and spoke earlier, I don't know about across the road or anything, but there's one in Lake Arrowhead. You can drive by it practically every day, but it's pretty large. I mean, if they have a large family, they're in their home and they're also above their garage. So, I mean, if you look at it that way, I mean, you need a short-term rental permit to be able to rent the space. It's not necessarily a duplex. I'm not for it one way or the other, but
but you can currently build above your garage, but you don't need to add a bathroom and kitchen and make it self-sufficient. That's what a UAD building is, it would be self-sufficient.
ADU.
ADU, sorry. So you can still have what they call a frog room, Florida family room over garage. There's nothing that's stopping you when you build your home or remodel your home in the Lake Districts from not expanding over your garage for a family room or anything. But
There's several of them, though. There's several of them in the Lakes District that this
just
has
because
been
there's
approved.
several doesn't, well,
Families have built them, and and their families are large, and they have the extra living space.
But they're used for bedroom or recreational area, not having a bathroom and kitchen and be a self-contained unit, that I'm aware of.
contained unit with its own entranceway that you could theoretically rent out.
Right.
So either we can keep it on the agenda for future discussion, or we can,
Well, can I have clarification on the wall height issue? And this, I think, is that determining the accessory structure wall height. And originally, back in 2018, Greg was giving us a little bit of a history with regard to the wall height. And I remember it was 10, and the gentleman that made the request asked for 12 so he could put his bigger toys into his
Well,
his
actually, I think he
garage
asked for
area.
14 or 16.
And we,
In order to be able to put a motor home inside, to have a high enough door, you had to have at least a 14-foot sidewall. I think
He's-
that's
right.
That's what brought this all to light. And so we just removed the 10-foot, probably should have changed it to a 16 or something.
right,
but-
rather than keep it open and like all the other districts at 35. Is that
Well, that's overall height, not sidewall.
overall height?
No.
So Greg had also put in the Rapids, there's a maximum height for a home of 30, garage 15, Portage had 35, garage 20. And we're at a 35. So I agree with Jerry, we probably should have left it like a 14. So this wouldn't be an issue, I don't think, if we had a 14. But I agree with regard to the density issue and having the additional ability to put another structure on a property with living space above. It's not something that I would be supportive of.
And just to clarify, Dustin had said that they do not allow for a second dwelling or bunkhouse if it's in the Shoreland District. So that was his wording for it.
So you would oppose this in the Lake District, but what about another?
it's already allowed in all the other
It's
districts in the
all
town
the
of
other
Rome.
districts, but not in the Lake
Right.
District, so
You
I,
oppose it in the Lake District?
yes, I do. So, should we put it on,
Well, so
Yes.
there's two pieces to this that theoretically could
yeah.
be related, and that's why they're put on as the same agenda item. But if you want to have some language, for example, for the height, I need to have some direction, and I can provide that to you on the next agenda. So I'm looking for direction from you on
do we,
what you'd like to see on a future agenda.
so we would be revisiting the height, cause this was already,
Sidewall height of
Sidewall,
accessory
right.
buildings or garages.
so do we wanna revisit that again? We did that back in 18 and change it?
If it's causing an issue, yes, we could set it at 14. You still have a door high enough to put a motorhome inside,
Or 16, because you can get a 14 by 14 door, most motorhomes.
or
so.
16, yeah.
I revisit the wall height. We want to make a recommendation to the Cause it would go to the town board then after our recommendation, right?
Well,
Otherwise, we just leave well enough alone
It's
and,
gotta bring it back and we gotta act on it again. Won't go to town board till we act on it.
If you wanted to come back on a future agenda, I would need to know what you want, and then it would be proposed to you as an ordinance update. Those ordinance updates in the zoning code have to go through a public hearing and their recommendation to the town board.
I would recommend 16-foot wall height on accessory structures.
In the Lake District, LD.
Right.
And the second part of our puzzle, do we,
I don't know that there is a second part of
Okay.
the puzzle,
the 8,
that's what I need.
I think that from the overall opinion of the discussion, I mean, you can put it on, but it sounded like we had for people that were not really willing to let another dwelling go onto a lakefront home. As we sat here now, if you wanna keep it together, we can separate the votes out at that point in time, so people have a chance to think about it. I'm fine with that too.
okay, I think we'll just discuss the wall height then.
I would think,
I would recommend that.
Recommendation.
I would recommend the
Okay.
wall height and leave the,
Okay, why don't we do that then, Nick, for next agenda item?
And then for purposes of build out of the agenda, since it would just be inserting that language that you saw in the packets, with now 16 feet, are you okay with having that set as the public hearing right away, or do you wanna just see raw ordinance language before we would do that and set it?
It's pretty much just a,
That's
I-
up to you all, I just wanna.
I would think we could just have the public hearing and do
Approve it.
that, yeah?
Okay,
I would say so.
Okay,
thank you, I
we'll
just
do
wanna
that.
make sure that nobody's surprised or caught off guard.
I would think so. Let's not make it difficult.
Just
I'm the
another
chair.
thing you could be yelled at.
Okay, next agenda items.
Oh, you got one
Oh,
more.
wait, no,
got one more,
I do.
yeah, item 16.
I thought my job was done here. Okay. Discussion and possible referral to a future agenda, review Rome Town Center business site plan of operation compliance concerns.
I'll throw out a few concerns. I'll start the conversation. Town ordinance says after getting an occupancy permit, landscaping shall be completed within 90 days. There's for sure at least one business in there that does not have landscaping completed. There's at least 2 businesses that don't have dumpster screened from the road. There's at least 2 businesses that have employee parking on gravel. There is no gravel parking in commercial A of the Rome Town Center. There's 1 business with no ADA compliant parking space, which is a federal law, has to be on a hard surface, has to be clearly marked. Believe it or not, my ADA spaces get used a lot. There's a garage door that's not screened from the road. Those are just a few that you can see from a quick drive-through. I don't know where the Plan Commission wants to go from here. And those are all correlate to town ordinances. Outdoor storage behind buildings, 360-81-1, paragraph 4, line G. So we're letting it get out of control in there. So whether it goes back to zoning, whether we take it up at future discussion, but there's gotta be ADA compliant parking spots. We cannot issue occupancy permits without them. It's a federal law.
Who's the sheriff in town that would, do this? Is this zoning, or is this plan commission, or who's got the ultimate?
It's zoning.
How does that mesh with what we just heard earlier this afternoon, that you could change the parking restrictions within the Rome Town Center? And not have any restrictions, if you, isn't that what he said?
But
Did I misunderstand him?
I think you misunderstand. You can change, in the Rome Town Center manual, it says if you have a hair salon, you should have so many spaces.
Right.
Okay, he's saying you can get away with exact number of spaces for a business. okay?
I thought he was
We're
saying you could get
dictating-
away from the exact number of spaces for a
But
business.
currently, we're dictating the spaces,
Correct.
okay?
That's what we
for
say in our
type
manual.
of business.
Right.
And my comment was nothing about number of spaces for a business, okay? Some businesses have a big enough parking lot, some businesses utilize the street parking. That's not an issue with how the town center is laid out. I believe his comment in the CDA meeting before was, in the Roma Town Center manual, it lists out barber shop, you know, hotel, liquor store, and how many spaces are required. He's saying we could get rid of the number required.
He said number required for employee parking.
Okay.
You can't get away
I thought
from
it was for all. It wasn't just for employee. He mentioned employee parking as being part of the issue, but he mentioned it as being part of the issue, but he wasn't just saying employee parking. He was saying.
You can't eliminate ADA requirements that are set by the federal government,
So
handicap.
the state, the feds trump the state, because the state has specific requirements and right now they're met.
For a number of parking spaces?
Yep. For a number of parking spaces based on occupancy and number of spaces in lot.
Well, he didn't know that then. According to Sam.
There's a state law about how many spaces, if you have so many parking spaces, you don't need any handicap if you don't have enough.
1 in 25, if you have up to 25 spaces, you need one ADA handicap place. If
In
you have
federal law,
25
you're talking federal now.
Yeah, 25 to 50, you need 2 ADA places.
I went into the state law and the state doesn't have it.
Really?
Yeah, really.
I think that we should focus on handicap spaces because they do look at our population in this town. I have 2 businesses in the Rome Town Center. Every single day my handicap spaces get used. I'd feel like an idiot if I didn't have them. Handicap spaces do get used quite a bit, the elderly population we have in this town. I think that if they want to patronize a business, they should have the closest spot, and they should have an aisle marked for their wheelchair or whatever they need to get out.
I think we need to have a discussion on what is ADA compliance for the Rome Town Center. If you want to have that on the agenda, I'm willing to discuss that. Because I don't know what it is. So we need to find out.
Be up to the CDA.
What?
Look at that.
CDA?
Yeah, we can look at that.
You want to refer it to the CDA?
And maybe work in conjunction with the building inspector, because it sounds like to Commissioner Gabriel's comment, an occupancy permit he's saying was granted and it shouldn't have been, according to you, because it didn't have the required ADA requirements. Check with our building inspector and see what exactly that is. I think that would be helpful to utilize some of that
So
as
we
well.
can consider that as part of Sam's, recommendations for parking, and that at some point, with those recommendations that he gave us, those 15 points to look at.
So would Tracy check with, I'm sorry, Taylor,
It's okay.
Heather?
I had a name problem this afternoon.
Oh
too.
my gosh.
Sometimes I go, what's your name? So.
So would you check with the building inspector and then get back to us, or is that?
It sounds like it's going to get referred to the CDA. That's who
Yeah.
We can look at
The-
the ADA
I
compliant.
think we
parking.
refer this issue to the CDA to take a look
Eventually
at
with
first.
parking, the overall parking updates is one of the 15
Right.
points he had recommended for the Rome
And
Town
if
Center
there's,
plan.
if there's federal law we should be following, then we need to know that. I don't know
As
whether
far
we.
as
do-
compliance issues go in the Rome Town Center, we've been talking about those for quite some time, and there's some issues that have gone to different levels of enforcement. There's other issues that are being dealt with legally that cannot be discussed. Correct, Nick? And
There
so
are
those
various levels
of legal
process
enforcement,
and
yes,
progress.
and those cannot be discussed publicly, so they'll be handled internally with staff and with the legal people that we're dealing with.
If we do find something that isn't appropriate or not followed through with as a plan commissioner, who do we go to bring
Fill out
these
a
to the
complaint
light?
form, give it to the support specialist or to the zoning person that we're contracted with, and that'll be handled through enforcement.
Agreed.
See, what's happening is the building inspector goes through these buildings, and yes, the building inspection is signed off on. But then the plan commission has seen all these site plan and plan of operation, but nobody in this town has ever gone back and checked the exterior of the site plan and plan of operation. And that's how these things are happening.
And that's why we have a brand-new building inspector, and we have a very good one, and that will be changing. The inspections will be made, follow-up inspections will be made.
To make sure they're in compliance with the site plan, plan of operation, and everything else.
That's exactly correct.
Makes a lot of sense, yes.
Okay.
Because to your comment, you're doing it at, if the occupancy is being granted, that would be a really, I think, opportune time to be looking at the site plan, plan of operation that's on file and making sure it's compliant.
What if there's an issue that isn't necessarily part of the site plan, plan of operation, such as a sign that is being placed in the Rome Town Center that should not be there?
Have they got a sign permit?
No.
Well, then we enforce that like anybody else that puts up a sign.
But when you say they, who would they be? This is just a random sign that's
What do you mean a random sign?
the water drop sign outside of Caldwell Banker.
Technically, that is something I wanna bring up to CDA. Thank you for bringing that up, by the way.
So I
And
think you would-
signage, town signage is gonna be coming up as well, all around, because, I mean, there's buildings in the Rome Town Center, there's signs, did they come back for multiple signs? I mean, multiple signs, those businesses, I mean, several buildings have multiple signs on them, I mean, so there's lots of violations up and down the gateway in the Rome Town Center. Windows are covered up, I mean, did those get permits? I don't know, I mean, there's lots of things, I mean,
Well, is that what the building inspector is going to be?
no, that's
Not necessarily.
not necessarily.
I'm not sure that
It's
that's
out of
going
the
to be
realm
called.
of that.
You're talking
Building
about
inspector.
Right, who's the enforcer?
Does-
Is that a movie like that?
I think Commissioner Jamadi referenced how a complaint would be filed and whom would follow up on it.
You have nuisance complaints and you have ordinance code enforcements. So there's a difference there. We have a code enforcement officer that does nuisance complaints, like that person's shed is too close to my lot line, or, your driveway's going over my lot line, or
So violation of zoning.
zoning, and then there's like, oh, he's got too much, dead brush in his yard. That's a nuisance. So we're dealing with everything that we can, and we have a lean staff, and there's other levels of, there's different levels of where they are as far as we can with legal and what we can disclose.
Any other comments?
Yeah,
Quickly?
I know you keep saying legal, and we all know which one you're referring to, but there is no reason, if they're in a legal dispute with anything with the building or their pavement, that the place can still not be landscaped. We're going on 2 years. It says after occupancy, landscaping shall be completed within 90 days. I mean, the silt fencing sat outside until Taylor finally sent him a letter after 2 years. Any parking lot being redone, anything else that has to be redone, they can work around landscaping. Contractors do it all the time. I'm still looking at a metal building and I'm still looking at a garage door, which is not fair to the other business owners in the Rome Town Center. I'll make a motion to adjourn the meeting if anybody else wants to comment.
Well, wait, we have to,
We're in the middle of discussion, and
Well, that, I figured nobody else wanted to discuss with me.
I don't.
well, I don't either, but if you're gonna use this as a forum to,
As a forum for what,
well,
Lori?
I think it's frustrating that there doesn't seem to be an outlet or some kind of a resolution on something that is over a deadline, and then
Nick,
who do you go to?
what can we do about that property? What are we in the midst of with that property? Can we say anything more? No, we can't, can we?
You're singling out one property, you wanna
Right,
talk
and we're
about one
doing it at a
property?
plan commission meeting. Can we do that?
You can do whatever you want. but I wouldn't advise it.
Thank you, Nick.
Next agenda item?
I have a few, three short-term rental applications that we've received, the Lake District accessory structure wall height. I'll set that as a public hearing as well. And then pending the town board's decision on the preliminary plat, we'll have Sedge North final plat as well.
All right.
Any other agenda items anyone want to add? Okay, next meeting would then be the second Tuesday of June, which would be the 11th, 4 p.m. here, same place.
I think I will recommend, though, that we'll have some, we do have some information that did come from UWSP and the Local Government Institute. And since we do have one new member, Heather did ask about it, I think we could maybe have some training. Nick, you had suggested it too. Board is having some training that'll be coming up in June, as well as the CDA. And I think that might be a good time to go over some issues as well as conditional use permits. Maybe we'll look at Sam's recommendation that he had for us, as well as on conditional use permits and how we might be using those if the rest of the commissioners are interested in how conditional use permits, we'll move forward with those on short-term rentals. And then I would also like, if Diana is open to it, to talk about future camping on newly developed and platted subdivisions.
There's a lot there. You want that all on?
Not all on one sub,
I mean,
no,
how long do you
no.
want this agenda to be, or is that going to be a separate meeting?
Must be both.
Some of that sounds like it's training.
Some of
which-
it's training, but
which
that
probably
training is
would be better
priority.
off At a
Training
different
is-
meeting.
No, well, it's hard to get, it's like herding cats for a different day, so.
But you.
But if we could have training, I don't know, if we can get that on a regular meeting, I don't know if people are willing to do that.
I would
Public
prefer
hearing isn't
training on a different day.
Yeah, not
It's
part
even
of
when,
the meeting.
even the special CDA, and this, it makes
Was
for
that
a
o-
long night for us.
I know, but are you able, you're the one with.
Tuesdays.
Tuesdays okay for you
Tuesdays
still?
are okay with me.
All right,
All
so if
summer
I can
long,
get
so
us,
if you plan a training day on a Tuesday,
is Tuesday okay for you, Heather? Cause I know, all right,
or otherwise like 7 o'clock in the morning, I'm good too. I don't open till 10, so 7 to 9, 8
I'm
to
good at
10.
5.
That's fine too. It's just the.
I get up at 4, but I don't think.
It's just that 2 to 3 o'clock is hard with the two businesses.
Okay, but
going on.
Tuesdays are usually, how's that for everybody? Tuesdays are okay?
Tuesdays are,
All right, for training, that's good. Nick is most Tuesdays.
Sure. I'm just,
Sure.
I'm just saying that to have everything that you just listed off there.
I
on
didn't
one
say
agenda
all at
would be-
once. I
would
just
be a
said-
lot.
All right,
On a-
but
on
conditional
an
use
agenda.
permits and
Otherwise, very
camping
long.
and new subdivisions. But,
but if the plan commission, we only meet once a month, so if you scheduled a training, like give us a week break and then go to the other Tuesday,
okay,
you know, that would be
Yep, that would work.
awesome.
like
So,
a 2-hour training session,
new
not like a
developments in
6
camping lot, camping on a new development,
In
or
subdivisions.
in
In
subdivisions?
subdivisions, like R1, R2, R3, R4, yes. New, like subdivisions, platted
If you're
subdivisions.
doing a subdivision, why would you have camping on it?
Because we allowed it on 13, we'll talk about it. Jason and I have been talking about it because we have had some in new subdivisions.
Is it time to do that discussion
Yes.
now?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Anybody else have anything on the agenda? All right, meeting adjourned.